Yum, yum. Mike and I just finished that delicious roasted chicken dinner. And as you saw, it wasn't that complicated to make. In fact, we just kind of threw a bunch of vegetables in there, throw some butter, salt, pepper, and some herbs, and there you go. It's a delicious, nutritious meal. So what I had Mike do is once the bird cooled, he pulled off all the meat. And as you can see, we've got tons of great leftovers. There's all the leftover chicken. You can see how moist it turned out, and then all the roasted vegetables. This is Mikey's little lunch for tomorrow. Very nutritious and delicious. So now I want to show you how to make bone broth from the carcass, leftover carcass. Now, bone broth is something that our grandmothers and our great-grandmothers used to make all the time, but it really became kind of out of fashion once we got into the convenience foods, the packaged foods, canned soups, that sort of thing. But it's something that's coming back thanks to Weston A. Price, and thank God it is, because it's such a healing and powerful food for our bodies. And here is why. Bone broth is loaded with minerals, calcium, magnesium, potassium. It also is loaded with gelatin, which is a great digestional aid. It also is very healing to your whole digestional tract. So can't give it enough kudos to bone broths. It's also a very alkalinizing food and just good for your overall body. So I'm going to show you how to make it. The first thing you need is a great stock pot. This is like one of the greatest gifts you can buy for yourself. It's great for having in your kitchen. It's really important to have a good stock pot. So in the stock pot, we're going to put the leftover carcass. As you can see, here we go. Now this was an extra neck that was included, and we're just going to throw all the bones in here. So again, we're using every part of the bird. And then what I did ahead of time was chilled some water. And the reason why you want cold water is because we're going to mix it with a little bit of acidic vinegar. It's a raw vinegar, or you can use lemon. And what that does, the coldness and the acidity pulls all the minerals from the bones and makes it more nutritious. So be sure you do that. So here's our water going in. And you just want enough water to kind of cover the carcass. So it's a really dense and strong broth. And then we're just going to add just a couple dashes of this vinegar, just enough to give it a little bit of acidity. So there you go. And that's kind of a basic chicken broth for you, bone broth I should say. Now if you really want to, let's see, emphasize the minerals here, this is where we go a little fear factor on you. You can get some additional parts of the chicken to really bolster your soup. And the first is chicken necks and backs. So here's a couple of them. And as you can see, you know, just the neck and the back. This is really great because again, it's a bony part of the chicken. It creates a lot of that gelatin, a lot of the minerals and the delicious flavor. It's an inexpensive part of the chicken, so you can get it from your farmer or you can get it from your local butcher. And again, it just adds to the flavor. Now this is where we really go off the beaten track, but I'm telling you, this really makes your soup delicious and incredibly nutritious. And what I'm talking about here are chicken feet. Yes, people, take a look at that. I know it's really, really gross and disturbing, and I always say a prayer over these chickens for just giving their lives for our nutrition. But it's just incredible the amount of gelatin and just deliciousness that it creates. I have to use a fork because it's really disturbing for me. Okay, so we need a little more water to cover the chicken's feet, so I'm going to pour that in. And I'm going to put it on kind of a real medium to high heat and cover it and let it sit for about 10-15 minutes until it starts to boil. Then I'm going to take off the top and I'm going to start skimming it with a spoon with some holes in it and just take off some of that scum, because some scum is going to rise to the surface. So de-scum it, so to speak. And once that's through, shouldn't take too long, then I want to put it in the lowest heat possible, and I'm going to let it sit and cook for 24 hours. And that time is going to, again, make it the most nutritious and delicious flavor broth that we can possibly make. Okay, so it's been 24 hours. Our stock here is ready. As you can see, it's got a beautiful golden color. It looks a little gnarly, but that's because we've got to skim it and strain it, and we also have to get rid of the bones. Now, getting rid of the bones is kind of a gnarly job, so that's why I'm going to have Mike do it. Here's the bones, and here's the trash. Bam. Okay, so now Mike is going to strain it to get rid of any extra debris. Okay, so here is our strained broth. As you can see, the fat's already starting to rise to the surface. That's why it's murky. But now what we're going to do is let it sit and kind of cool off. We're going to get it to room temperature. We're going to cover it and we're going to put it in the fridge for 24 hours. And what that does is the coldness causes the fat to rise to the top so that we can skim it. Okay, so it's been 24 hours in the refrigerator, this broth here. And as you can see, the nice fat rim has been established. You can see it, and what I'm going to do now is just skim this fat off, and you can kind of get a glimpse underneath here how gelatinous it is underneath this broth. Don't worry, you know, when you heat it up, it thins out, but you can tell this is a lot richer and more nutritionally dense. Lots of gelatin, which again is healing for the digestional tract. And you certainly will not see this in your store-bought chicken broths. So now look at this jiggle. Looks like Jell-O. Okay, my friends, here is the fruit of our labors. This beautiful, delicious chicken broth. We made 8 pints of this stuff. I like to call it liquid gold. Look at that great color, and this is going to last us a long time. And we just made it from 1 chicken carcass, some pound of feet, and 2 backs and necks. So be sure when you store it, mason jars are the best because of glass, and give yourself some room so that it doesn't crack the glass because it does expand. And from here, really, it's endless in terms of the recipes. We can make gravies, sauces, rice dishes, and of course, soup. And that is what we're going to talk about in the next part of this series.